You remember Ibragim Todashev? He was questioned by the FBI. He was friends with Tamerlan, the supposed leader of the Boston bombing, who was on CIA payroll. This is mainstream news, being sent to infiltrate southern Russia, and was in CIA training programs in Georgia. Two of the FBI agents that were investigating this fell out of a helicopter, and they were involved investigating and on the ground and in the arrest, and talked to the surviving brother before he had his throat cut out. You know, he climbed out not bleeding, and then minutes later, he may die, because news cameras were on the boat. They tried to shoot it up and kill him, but it's miraculously he didn't get hit or didn't die, and so they had to cut his throat out and then announce that he'd confessed with his throat cut out, because that's how you do it now. You just go directly to a hospital bed with your throat cut out, and then he confesses. They could do that to me because it's such a free country. Ibragim Todashev was killed. This has now been admitted by FBI during a questioning, was shot 6 times, and once in the crown of the head. Photos shown at a press conference in Moscow reveal his father suspects it could have been a kill shot. Kind of like Terrence Yakey, Cop of the Year, that responded first to the Oklahoma City bombing about a minute after it happened, and carried by people out on his back, and asked the ATF, "Why are you in bomb squad gear? Why are there people from the federal office here?" And they said, "Shut up or we'll kill you." I've talked to his family. We've made films with him, interviews. I've talked to cops that knew him. I've talked to Don Browning, who was head of the K-9 unit, the second to respond, and he asked questions, and they came to his office and said, the FBI did. He said this on the show and said, "You and your wife are dead if you don't shut up." And he went to the police chief and tried to do, and the chief said, "Yeah, shut up. You heard him. Take your check and go have a good day, buddy boy. We're playing hero right now. Don't get in the way of that. The daycare got bombed." You and your wife, Pooh, know what to do, don't ya? Because America's run by the good guys. America's run by the folks that run Fast and Furious, who was the Deputy Attorney General in 1995, and now he's the big honcho. He's now the big man. He's now the king daddy in charge. Why, he's Eric Holder. People say, well, why haven't they killed you yet? Because I'm on the air. They're trying to kill my name. They're trying to destroy me, perhaps before setting me up or doing something like that. They pull me over with drugs. I don't use drugs. They find me dead in a hotel room with a hooker. I don't do that. They're found dead with a heroin injector. I've never used heroin, would never take any hard drugs. It's pure bull. Shoot me in the top of the head. Terrence Yakey, Cop of the Year, he was tortured, cuts all over his body, looked like electric shocks, out in the field, blood everywhere, and then a shot in the back of the head. Because that's how you commit suicide, from the back and down. Kind of like this friend of Tamerlan who, said the FBI's coming to talk to me, and told people it's a setup. My friends were set up, and he told his friends they're going to kill me. That's on record. And they said, don't worry, the FBI's the good guys. I saw it on TV. And it turned out the FBI, first we heard, had been attacked and stabbed. Turned out he wasn't stabbed. That's why there's no hospital record. They're now saying, well, he jumped up out of his chair. Well, everybody knows you go in for questioning, and then you jump out of your chair, and it's like that woman with the TSA who choked herself, but she was handcuffed behind her back. See, what happens is the cops, too, like to jump on your head now. It's like fun to jump on, and then you suffocate. Every day I see an article about they go to the asthmatic's house. There's no guns, no drugs, no nothing. They jump on them. The person begs for 20 minutes and dies. And it's like hi-fi all around her. I think it's great. I think it's all wonderful. And I think it's great. They've already taken all the corporate pension funds. Almost all of them. The federal pension funds have already been taken. You're still being paid with fiat dollars, but the money's gone. I think it's all great, too. I support the government. I support them growing the opium in Afghanistan and shipping it in. I support them persecuting journalists and arresting media people that just report mainstream news. I support secret arrest under NDAA and Obama saying they'll kill Americans inside the U.S. and authorizing NATO countries to kill whoever they want inside the U.S. outside of law. Because he's the president, and when he does it, it's okay. When he does it, it's not illegal. I mean, it is, but you know what? I think I'm going to join the team and stop being such a hate monger. In fact, maybe I should just apologize, because I'm reading all this news. Oh, look at this. Japan is banning importations of corn GMO that kills the insects. They're like, the Japanese government's like, it kills insects, but humans can eat it. We have these studies of organ failure. No, thank you. But they still try to ship it in like it was a bioweapon or something, like it was a military operation from Monsanto and others. Oh, it was a military operation. Sorry. Japan halts imports of U.S. wheat after it was corn. Now it's wheat this week after USDA shock finding of genetic pollution from GMOs. Yes, it does change your DNA when they add plant and animal and then pharmacological traits to this. But and of course that's USDA even now admits that. But you know what? It's okay. It's all right. I think everybody should just go with the flow, ladies and gentlemen. And again, I mentioned this yesterday, but now there's been a PrisonPlanet.com article written about it. It was in the Illinois newspapers. Illinois AG Department illegally seizes privately owned bees resistant to GMO poison. Now, they claim that bees don't even, that the poison isn't expressed in the pollen of these different plants like corn, but it does kill the bees. And there's been big studies out on that. Well, now they're very upset that a beekeeper pointed out that his bees were not dying from it, and they did a study on it, and you don't want to find out what's going on, including studies that are linked in this article to killing human kidney cells. Well, what's wrong with killing your kidneys? I mean, come on, man. Don't be extreme. It's fun. And Terrence Ingram, a world-renowned naturalist who once saved the bald eagle, well, that's a crime. Get rid of those. From being on the endangered species list, was recently met by the Illinois Agriculture Department, which seizes privately owned bees. The department seized the bees that were resistant to GMO pesticides and killed the remaining healthy queen bees in the beehives. Well, yeah, we can't have the bees surviving. I mean, if they mutate to survive, that's not good. And when your kid's getting sick from this stuff, you supposedly can't get the genetic test to prove it because, well, that's patented. Those poisons in your child are patented. The court said so. Good people. Ingram had been researching the effects of Roundup, the Monsanto Frankenfood best-selling herbicide meant to make crops more resistant to pests. Roundup itself has a long list of negative effects, again, killing human kidney cells and stuff like that. Much of the ill effects of Roundup are produced by the active ingredient. And then it goes through all that. Ingram has been raising the bees 58 years. Well, those aren't yours anymore. I mean, we're going to seize them because Monsanto said so. And researching Roundup's effects on bees 15 years. Well, we can't have that. That's why Monsanto's buying up all the bee study companies. They ruined 15 years of my research. Well, that's the point, bud. Roll over it and die. Let's get him on, guys. Let's get this guy on. He told Prairie Advocate, by stealing most of my stock, you can surmise that the results of my research were not likely a glowing report on the benefits of GMO pesticides. The AG department allegedly seized Ingram's bees because they were stricken with a disease known as American foul brood. However, Ingram said he could prove that that is simply not true and intended to do so in an April hearing. And it just goes on from there. So that's the kind of stuff that goes on. Here's another article from the LRC blog. I was already mentioning this. I just can't get over it. So why did the FBI shoot the friend of Tamerlan? But the best part is he confessed verbally to the agents about being involved in a triple murder before he shot himself in the top of the head. Yes, we came and questioned Alex Jones or maybe Ron Paul, maybe Rand Paul. We questioned the senator, and then he confessed to, who knows, arming Kim Jong-un. I mean, who knows what they'll make up. And then he jumped up, and we felt threatened and shot him 6 times. And you're like, oh, no, this is only, this other guy that did it too. It'll never happen to anybody big. If they get away with it, it will. Oh, they'll never arrest reporters, that talk to mainline sources just about their views on the administration. That's completely protected by the First Amendment. Oh, they are. And then I guess we're all supposed to just get scared by all of this. And then roll over in frothing shaking, gibbering, uncontrolled fear, because that will make the bad guys leave us alone, right? If we lay down, bend over, grease the skids on our back, that will stop the bullies, right? That will fix everything. I mean, if the FBI comes into the cop's office and says, we'll kill you, you and your wife are dead if you don't shut up, you're supposed to shut up, Don Browning in Oklahoma City. And you saw what happened to Terrence Yakey, shot in the top of the head, tortured all over his body, knife wounds all over his body, electrical wounds, all this other stuff, to find out, where his documents were at. And see, the FBI, the hit team they sent, because he called his partner and he said, I'm getting, looks like I'm being followed by some feds. And all the witnesses of the feds planting the bombs and everything else. You're supposed to understand Terrence Yakey was the bad guy, folks. He was the bad guy saving people out of the wreckage. He was the bad guy seeing the ATF on the scene, dozens of them, and the FBI a minute after it happened in bomb gear and telling him to shut up. And he was supposed to just go with the flow, feel good, get a commendation, and that's the end of it. Because blowing up that nursery was loving to bring in the collective. We have to blame the libertarians and the conservatives and the gun owners for the bombing. We've got to create a collective guilt to create an omnibus crime bill and then a Homeland Security Bureau to persecute the Tea Party and the pro-lifers and the veterans and the gun owners. How else are we going to fully take over America and fully break down the family and fully take your private property and fully have offshore banks that are exempt from all of this, transfer all our wealth? How are they going to destroy a free country without doing that? How, Don Browning, head of the K-9 unit in Oklahoma City? You are the bad man. I, Alex Jones, am the bad man. Ron Paul is the bad man. Rand Paul is the bad man. He came out last week again this week and said in the Senate, why are we funding al-Qaeda and the bin Laden Brigade, the main leadership? It's like 60% of the rebels now, they estimate, even Reuters does, are al-Qaeda. They have al-Qaeda flags, they march, and they say, after Assad, we destroy America. And they're going to let them attack America as soon as they've done that job, and they'll all be paid in gold as usual. They flew out 30 to 40,000 Taliban and al-Qaeda leaders. Just Googled Airlift of Evil, Newsweek, Daily Mail, Sunday Times of London, where the Special Forces colonels and generals were like, we are loading them on C-130s with chest of gold, and we're flying them over the mountains into Pakistan. And then, of course, that's the group they fight today. They don't really fight them. They bomb other people. See, they move their al-Qaeda simulant into an area, and they stage some terror attacks and things when it's needed, to take liberties and things. But then you say, oh, we may have to attack and take over Pakistan because they're harboring al-Qaeda. And then the Pakistani presidents come out and go, you're running these people. And it's on record they are. And see, Rand Paul should understand it's part of the greater game to overthrow Libya and Egypt and Syria and put al-Qaeda in. How else is al-Qaeda going to shoot down European and Western airliners with heat-seeking missiles the Pentagon gave them? How else are they going to do that so we can have highway checkpoints to look for missiles? I mean, how else are we going to overthrow America and the rest of the world? Because America can't stand. America can't exist. America can't be there as a free country with private property and guns and families and marriages and children and prosperity when, the average African country's got 40% HIV infection, UN caught adding sterilants to the vaccines, GMO being shipped in to kill everybody. The rest, Latin America, forced sterilizations, all this stuff. I mean, you can't have them all under this, and then we're not under it. We've got to eat all the GMO. We've got to have the organ failure. We've got to have the 3,000% increase in breast cancer, 10,000% increase in pediatric cancer. We've got to do it. We've got to be part of it. We've got to show everybody, look, we're eating it, it's safe. We're drinking it, it's safe. We're taking all the vaccines, it's safe. We're assigning social workers every family and saying, parents, the children don't belong to you, they belong to the state. It's safe. It's America. Land of the free, home of the brave. Look at that drone. Look at that black helicopter. You know what? The people that talk about black helicopters, they were actually being truthful, but they're here to save you now. You saw that Army checkpoint in your town. FEMA came door to door in Chicago. We've got a reporter coming on later. The general manager of our 1530 affiliate in Chicago. He's got video of it. He put out the famous video of his son in a wheelchair being accosted by the TSA. And they're coming and asking questions about you and your family. It's we're just dropping by because some stuff's coming to America that we're going to be in your life every day. Because it's in the civilian inmate labor camp program. And again, this doesn't have to happen if we wake up. But see, if Rachel Maddow can say there aren't 2 billion bullets, there aren't FEMA camps, we can never have a debate about it and say we don't want that. As they roll it out, they go, doesn't exist, doesn't exist, doesn't exist, doesn't exist, doesn't exist, doesn't exist. So we can never have a debate about it. That offensive. They would bullhorn in Vietnamese and English, this is not an assault. And they learned that, of course, from the German military, and our military learned that. Did you know if you're actually in good old-fashioned infantry warfare with groups moving against each other? Some of the last times this happened was really in Vietnam, but they did some of it in the 1990 invasion of Iraq. You broadcast in radio, TV, but also with loudspeakers that we're not attacking. We're not attacking. I mean, you shove bayonets. I'm not attacking you. Oh, there's no New World Order. There's no Bilderberg Group either. and everybody loves it. Because the average person doesn't want to fight. When a bank robber comes in, they say, put your hands up and nothing bad's going to happen. A lot of times, you know, because I read crime reports, I'm sure you do too, you'll hear about these, you know, usually multi-time losers out of prison. They come to a house, they tie everybody up. People don't resist. They pull a knife, they pull a gun. People don't try to get away from them. And then they get tied up. And then one of the guys goes, let's go ahead and rape them. And then they go ahead and rape them. They go, let's kill them. All right, you first. They start shooting your own. And see, I don't act like that. I don't go here, tie me up. I'm going to gouge your eyeballs out or die trying if I can't get to a gun. But see, I'm a bad man. We're supposed to be with the government. Here, put the handcuffs on as a Homeland Security. You know, we're supposed to take me in the basement. I know you're going to be nice to me, New World Order.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the InfoWars magazine. Plus get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants. So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.